Hi, it's your friend Marvin Stafford, the Smile Motivator. Good morning! It's a great morning. I'm glad you're here with me this morning. And oh wow, we have been. It's just Tuesday. It's just Tuesday, and I'm excited because we got the rest of the week to go. We've been talking about Matthew 7, chapter 7, verse 7 and 8. It's the account of the asking, seeking, and knocking. And we went over that a little bit yesterday. Now, yesterday, I was all over the place. I was so nervous yesterday. I was all over the place, and I was giving you a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And when I got to breaking it down, I think I just rushed through it, which is fine. You know, we yesterday we went into like 9 or 10 minutes, and I didn't want to make the video that long. But just a small recap. We're talking about the asking, seeking, and knocking. How the ask is general, but you ask pretty much all the way through the whole process, because when you're getting to know people, when you're seeking things, and you're seeking those specialized skills and knowledge, you're asking. And when you're getting to know the relationships and building rapport with people by that knocking, doing interviews, seeking a job, whatever you might be seeking, and whatever you might be knocking on doors for, you're asking the whole process. So it's all about the ask. And I guess that's why it's ask, seek, knock, ask. So those three, abbreviation. So that abbreviation, so it's asking the whole way through. And we talked about yesterday about asking God and about the rain situation. That was so cool. It was so cool. It's a true story, absolutely true story, and I believe Misty's story too. So yeah, we're talking about that. And I just want to give you a little bit, because it was kind of hard trying for me to get it across to you what I meant by the entitlement. When you ask God with a spirit or an attitude of entitlement, you owe me. And it's not something that God said he was necessarily going to do for you, because in the Old Testament, it's coming to God like you owe me because you said. You said you were going to do this. You said you were going to watch over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You said. So holding God accountable to his word for the sake of the word is one thing. But being entitled and not grateful for what he has done or what he were asking for, that's one of the reasons why we don't get what we want. But it's so funny too. God is so good that sometimes even when you come to him with the spirit of ungratefulness or a spirit of entitlement, he will do it for you for the sake of somebody you're connected to. And that's a trip, because you're connected to this person. And I love this person. I'm going to do it for you. And that's a trip. That's how good God is. So you sometimes might have some things that you know you didn't, because of somebody you connected to. And I'm not saying everybody has a spirit of entitlement or nothing like that. Just some of those things, like, God is just too good. I know I didn't deserve this. Because some people you connected to. And that's why sometimes you receive and know, you're like, wow, thank you, God. But yeah, some of the things we don't get because of that spirit of entitlement or ungratefulness. And the second thing I was talking about is what you're asking for might bring harm to you or harm to someone else. And the third thing was that the thing that you're asking for is outside of God's will for you. He just doesn't want you to have that, because it's either outside of God's will for you, or it might pull you out of the will of God. Sometimes we don't know ourselves and how some things we want can actually we can put those things before God. And God knows that you're not able to handle those things and still remain the same person that you are. So he will deny some of those things. And or you're just not prepared for it. And he's giving you time to get prepared for it. He's taking you through a journey. And that brings me to the time situation. He's not giving it to you yet. It reminds me of a story in 2 Kings chapter 5, Naaman. Naaman, Gehazi, and Elisha. So there's Elijah, that's the first one, and Elisha came after him. And man, Naaman, the Bible says that he was a upright man. He was a general of the Syrian army, like second in command to the king. He ran. He was the one who was conqueror. He was conqueror, but he said he is an upright man, and God favored him and favored Syria because of him. But he had a servant, a little girl, as an Israelite girl, and it looked like, well, no, I wish my master, I wish Naaman would go to Israel and see the prophet, and he would heal him because he had leprosy. Naaman had leprosy. So, Naaman heard this. He got his stuff together. He took a bunch of gifts, went to Israel, and ultimately got in front of Elisha's house, the front door. And think about it. He's a big man. Naaman is a big time. He's like rolling. He's like second to the king. Pomp and circumstances and robes and gold and all that. Shoot, Elisha didn't even come to the door. He didn't even come to the door. He sent his servants to talk through the door. Talk through the door at this dude that's supposed to be running stuff. He was like, go wash in the Jordan River. That's what it was. Go wash in the Jordan River 7 times and you're going to be healed. Naaman was hot. He said, man, I got some rivers back in Syria that's way better than this dirty old Jordan River. And his boy, thank God for calm-headed people. As he stormed away and was leaving, his boy was like, now if the prophet had asked you to do something super hard, you would have broke your neck to do it. And finally, he calmed down and went and washed. And he dipped 7 times in the Jordan River. When he came up the 7th time, he was clean. He was clean, boy. He was clean. Oh, man. So he was like, oh, my God. He had brought all this gold and stuff to bless the man who had healed him. He was arguing with Elijah, talking about, I need to give you this. He was waiting God to break you to an argument back. He said, I ain't taking nothing from you, Elijah said. I ain't taking nothing from you. So ultimately, Elisha, blessed him, and it's something he asked, and he left. But Gehazi, this is the boy now, Gehazi was the one who was like, oh, I'm going to get some of this money. Because he had brought silver and gold and clothes trying to bless the man of God. But no, he brought that for the man of God. I work for the man of God. I'm about to get some of this money. So he ran after the dude. And when he ran after the dude, Naaman saw he was running. And he turned his chariot and got off his chariot and ran to meet him. He took some gold, he took some silver, took some silver and some clothes and hid him in his tent and went back to see Elijah. This is Gehazi. Gehazi walked into Elijah's tent. Elijah was like, where you been? He was checking him. Where you been? Gehazi was like, I ain't been nowhere. Elijah was like, wasn't my heart with you when the man turned the chariot and went to meet you? This is the part right here. It's the whole thing we were talking about. It says, was not my spirit with you. It said, is this the time? Is this the time to take money and accept clothes? Check it. Check this part. Or olive groves, or vineyards, or flocks, sheep and cattle, or employees. Is this the time? Yeah, you took silver and you took clothes. Is this the time for silver and clothes? Check it. Plus olive groves and vineyards and sheep and cattle and employees. Is this the time? Now, he only took clothes and silver. But Elisha was hitting him with all this extra stuff. This was his later time that Elijah already knew he was going to get, that God was going to bless him for. But it wasn't the time now. It wasn't the time now. This is what he'd been wanting in his heart secretly. He been wanting to be a rich man. He been wanting to have some excellent stuff. And God was going to give him to him. But it wasn't the time. Elisha knew that. Elisha knew that, and he called him on it. Ultimately, God, you know what? I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get it. Tell me, if you want me to tell the whole story from beginning to the end, hit me up in the comments. And I'll probably plan a Saturday, get on live and do it, and outside of the normal everyday recording. But I really want to do that. But if you don't want to hear it, I won't worry about it. But if you want to hear it, put it in the comments and we'll get into that. But ultimately, God had a plan for Gehazi. And ultimately, he got to the plan. But he had to go through some whole lot of stuff because he had a bad heart. He had a bad heart when it came to that money and clothes and stuff. So, but just take that with you. God sometimes keeps stuff from you because he doesn't want to harm you. He wants to increase you. He wants you to have a good heart when you're accepting it. And sometimes it's just not the time. I know this video has been a little long, but it's all right. I wanted to get the whole story out to you. Hey, I'm Marvin Stafford. And I'm reminding you that we are staying motivated in life eternal. Have a great and awesome day today. Like and share the video. Bless you. And also tell me in the comments if you want to hear that story and we'll plan something out. Have a great day.